What if I told you that one of the most famous actors in the world, a man who has lived through decades of stardom, incredible success, crushing failures, and some of the most public battles we've ever seen, just admitted that the only reason he's still going is because of his fans? That's exactly what Johnny Depp confessed. He didn't say it in a press release. He didn't say it on a movie set. He said it straight from the heart, and those words, "You are the reason I keep going," have echoed across the world in a way that feels almost bigger than any movie he's ever made. It's kind of shocking when you think about it. Here's Johnny Depp, the man behind Jack Sparrow, one of the most iconic characters in movie history. The man who gave us Edward Scissorhands, a role that made us cry even though he barely spoke. The man who has been on posters in magazines and on screens for decades. A guy who has lived the dream that so many people imagine. Wealth, fame, artistry, influence. And yet, with all of that, he says it's the people watching, the people supporting, the people who stuck with him that made the difference. Not the money, not the studio executives, not the Hollywood machine, just the fans. And the more you think about it, the more it makes sense. Because Johnny Depp's story has never been a straight line. For every success, there's been a storm. For every blockbuster, there's been a headline dragging him through the mud. We've seen him in courtrooms. We've seen him on magazine covers with headlines questioning everything about him. We've seen moments where people wondered if his career was finished for good. And through all of that, while Hollywood turned its back, his fans didn't. They never left. Imagine how heavy that must have been for him. Imagine waking up and seeing your name splashed across every headline, not for a new movie, not for a performance, but for rumors, scandals, and battles you never wanted the world to see. Imagine people questioning your worth, your talent, your reputation, all of it, day after day. Most people would have broken down under that pressure. Some would have quit, but Johnny didn't. And when he talks about why, he doesn't point to himself. He points to the fans. When he says, "You are the reason I keep going," he's not exaggerating. He's thinking about those moments when the world felt silent, when doors were closing, and then suddenly a letter arrived, or a fan held up. A sign outside of a courthouse that said, "We believe you," or an online comment popped up with someone saying, "Johnny, we've got your back." Those aren't just small gestures. To someone who feels like everything is collapsing, those gestures are lifelines. And you know, that's something that makes Johnny different from a lot of stars. He doesn't just brush off his fans as background noise. He really sees them. If you've ever watched him at one of his concerts with his band Hollywood Vampires, you'll notice something. While most performers might sing, wave, and leave, Johnny stays. He spends time with fans, sometimes hours. He signs autographs, takes pictures, listens to stories. Some people have said that he'll stand there until the very last person gets their moment. That doesn't sound like a man who thinks he's above his audience. That sounds like someone who knows exactly how much he owes them, and I think that's part of why people love him so deeply. It's not just the characters he's played on screen. It's not just the weird, quirky roles that made him unforgettable. It's the humanity behind all of it. He's not trying to pretend that he's untouchable. He's saying, "I need you, just like you say you need me." That's a rare honesty, especially in Hollywood. Let's not forget, Depp has always been different. He's never really fit into the Hollywood mold. From the very beginning, he picked roles that didn't make sense to most people. Who else would risk their career to play a silent, scissor-handed outsider in his 20s? Who else would turn a Disney pirate movie into a performance so strange, so bold, and so original that it redefined what a blockbuster character could be? Hollywood didn't always get him, but the fans did. And now, after everything he's been through, it feels like he's finally admitting that the fans were the ones who mattered all along. Think about his Cannes appearance in 2023. He walks out, and the headlines all say, "Johnny Depp makes a comeback." But if you watch closely, you'll see something else. He wasn't smiling for the cameras. He was smiling for the people cheering his name outside. He wasn't thanking Hollywood. He was thanking the fans who had been standing outside for hours just for a glimpse of him. That says everything. And here's what I find interesting. Some people, when they hear celebrities thank their fans, roll their eyes. They think it's just part of the script, something nice to say. But with Johnny, you can feel the difference. You can hear it in his voice. He's not just saying it, he's living it. He's going out of his way to make sure the people who supported him know how much it meant. It makes me wonder how many times those fan messages saved him from walking away. Maybe there were nights when he thought, "That's it, I'm done." Maybe there were mornings when he didn't want to face the world again. And maybe, in those exact moments, a fan's words kept him from giving up. It's easy to underestimate how powerful encouragement can be, but Johnny's story proves it. And honestly, it's not just about him. There's a lesson here for all of us, because how many times have we been lifted by someone's belief in us? How many times has a small word of kindness made a difference we didn't expect? It's the same for Johnny. The scale is bigger, the spotlight is brighter, but the feeling is the same. He needed people to remind him he wasn't alone, and the fans did exactly that. Now, as he continues performing with his band, as he slowly steps back into acting projects, he's carrying those fans with him. Every concert, every movie, every public appearance is his way of saying, "I'm still here, and it's because of you." And you can tell he means it, because he doesn't move like a man who's trying to win Hollywood's forgiveness. He moves like someone who's already been forgiven by the people who truly mattered. It's strange, isn't it? We grow up thinking celebrities are these larger-than-life figures who don't need anyone, but when you peel back the curtain, you find out they're just like us. They get tired, they get hurt, they question themselves, and sometimes the only thing that keeps them standing is knowing that someone, somewhere, believes in them. That's what Johnny reminded us of with his words, that even legends need love, even icons need encouragement. And here's the thing, Johnny Depp has been many things in his career. He's been a superstar, he's been a scandal, he's been a hero, he's been a villain in the press, but now, more than ever, he's human. And maybe that's why his fans feel more connected to him than ever before. Because when he says, "You are the reason I keep going," he's letting us see the man behind the roles. The vulnerable, flawed, resilient man who still has stories to tell, songs to sing, and characters to play. It's almost strange to think about it. For decades, Depp has been this untouchable figure. You'd see his face on giant movie posters, hear his voice in theaters filled with millions, and read about him in glossy magazines. He was this larger-than-life figure, the kind of star who could shape an entire generation's idea of what a movie star should be, and yet now what connects people to him is not the fame, not the image, not the money. It's his humanity, his willingness to stand there and say, "I wouldn't have made it without you." This transformation didn't happen overnight. It's the result of years of battles, wins, losses, and lessons that no movie script could ever truly capture. In the early days of his career, Johnny wasn't chasing fame. He's admitted it himself. He wanted to be a musician, not an actor. Acting was something he stumbled into, almost by accident. His breakout role in 21 Jump Street made him a teen heartthrob, but even then, he was uncomfortable with the label. He never wanted to be just the pretty face. And that's why he started choosing roles that were strange, risky, and even off-putting to studios. He didn't want to be trapped in Hollywood's mold. Take Edward Scissorhands, for example. That wasn't just a film role, it was a statement. Here was a young actor already adored by millions, deliberately choosing to play a pale, scarred outcast with blades for hands, a character who couldn't even touch another person without causing pain. It was a gamble. Studios thought it was career suicide. But fans? Fans understood it. They saw something honest in it. They saw an actor who wasn't afraid to show vulnerability, loneliness, and the ache of being misunderstood. That decision set the tone for the rest of his career. Time and time again, Johnny picked roles that went against the grain. He wasn't afraid of being weird, of being different. From the eccentric Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean to the dark and unsettling Sweeney Todd, he leaned into characters that weren't safe bets. And while critics didn't always know what to do with him, fans got it. They felt like he was speaking to the outsiders, the dreamers, the people who didn't fit the mold. That bond only grew stronger, over time. But the same individuality that made him beloved also made him a target. Hollywood doesn't always reward those who refuse to play by the rules, And when the controversy started, when his private life became tabloid fuel, it seemed like the same industry that once applauded him was quick to turn its back. Overnight, headlines painted him as toxic. Studios distanced themselves. People whispered that his career was over. For someone who had given his whole life to art, that must have been devastating. And yet, in the middle of all that noise, there was one voice that stayed steady: the fans. While the industry closed doors, fans opened their arms. They wrote letters. They drew portraits. They defended him on social media. They filled courtrooms with signs of support. It wasn't just passive admiration, it was active loyalty. And Johnny noticed. He's spoken about it, about how those gestures, sometimes small, sometimes overwhelming, kept him afloat during the darkest hours. This is where that quote becomes so powerful. "You are the reason I keep going." He's not talking about Hollywood. He's not talking about producers or executives. He's talking about the ordinary people who refuse to let him be erased. That's not the kind of thing you say lightly. That's the kind of thing you say when you've felt the difference it makes, when you've gone to bed thinking it's all over, and then woken up to realize you're not alone. And the fans' loyalty didn't just keep him standing, it shaped the way he interacts with them. At concerts with his band Hollywood Vampires, he's known to stay long after the show is over, meeting fans, shaking hands, listening to their stories. Some say he'll stay until every last person has had their chance. That's not common. Most stars slip out through the back door. But Johnny lingers, because for him, those fans aren't background noise. They're the foundation. Look at Cannes 2023. The press tried to spin it as a Hollywood comeback story, but Johnny himself didn't seem interested in that narrative. When he smiled, when he waved, it wasn't at the flashing cameras. It was at the fans who had camped out all night just to see him. He knows who was there when he needed them, and he doesn't forget. Some people roll their eyes when celebrities thank their fans. They think it's just a polite line, something they have to say. But when Johnny says it, you can feel the weight behind it. It doesn't sound rehearsed. It doesn't sound like a cliché. It sounds like a man who has been through the fire and is acknowledging the people who pulled him out, and maybe that's why fans feel closer to him now than ever before. Because the wall between star and audience has crumbled. He's not pretending to be invincible. He's admitting that he needed help. And in doing so, he's showing us the real Johnny Depp, the man, not just the actor, vulnerable, flawed, resilient, still fighting, still creating. There's a strange beauty in that. For years, Johnny Depp has been called many things: superstar, genius, eccentric, troublemaker, legend, pariah. But maybe the most powerful role he's playing now is himself. And ironically, that's the role that seems to resonate most with people. Fans aren't just admiring him for Jack Sparrow or Edward Scissorhands anymore. They're admiring him for being human, for standing there, broken but not beaten, and saying, "I'm still here, and it's because of you." It makes you wonder how many times he almost walked away, how many times he thought, "I'm done," and how many times fan letters, fan chants outside a courthouse gave him the strength to keep going. It's easy to underestimate how powerful that bond can be, but Johnny's story proves it. The truth is, his career could have ended years ago. Hollywood tried to write him off. Studios tried to shut the door. But because fans didn't let go, neither did he. And now, as he slowly builds again, through music, through art, through acting, he's doing it on his own terms. Not to win. Back the approval of Hollywood, but to honor the people who never stopped believing. And really, isn't that what makes him so compelling? The fact that even after everything, he hasn't lost his spark. If anything, his spark burns brighter now because it's fueled by gratitude, not pressure. Every role he takes now, every song he sings, feels like a gift, not a transaction. It's not about fame anymore. It's about connection. And that's what makes his message so powerful. So when Johnny Depp says, "You are the reason I keep going," it's not just a thank you. It's a truth. A reminder that even the brightest stars sometimes need light from others. A reminder that sometimes love, pure, loyal, unconditional love, is the only thing strong enough to carry someone through the darkest times. And maybe that's the part that sticks with us. Because if Johnny Depp, with all his fame and fortune, needed encouragement to keep going, then it's okay for us to need it too. It's okay to lean on others. It's okay to admit we're human. And it's okay to find strength in the people who believe in us. In the end, Johnny Depp isn't just telling his story. He's telling ours. And maybe that's why those words hit so hard. Because deep down, we all know what it's like to keep going for someone else. And we all know how powerful it is when someone says, "I believe in you." Lay, the truth is, his journey isn't over. If anything, it feels like a new chapter. One where he's no longer performing for fame or industry approval, but for the joy of creating and the gratitude of knowing people are with him no matter what. That's powerful. That's inspiring. And it's something we can all take with us in our own lives. Because if Johnny Depp can rise again with nothing but the strength of people believing in him, then maybe we can too. So what do you think about Johnny's confession? Do you think fans really can be the reason someone keeps going? Or do you think it's just something stars say? Whatever your answer, one thing is certain. Johnny Depp's words weren't empty. They were a thank you, a promise, and a reminder that sometimes the biggest stars in the world are carried forward not by Hollywood, but by us. And maybe that's the real story here. Not about scandal, not about courtrooms, not about comebacks, but about the bond between an artist and the people who believe in him. A bond strong enough to outlast everything else. Because in the end, even Hollywood legends need love. And sometimes love is exactly what keeps them going.